Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is What If Naruto Was from a Special Clan. I was going to record this in the morning, but I had some well, not morning. I already did record something else, but I was trying to record this like somewhere in the afternoon, which it is the afternoon, but I had to do some things today, like a lot, but whatever with that. This is part 5 of What If Naruto Was from a Special Clan. But yeah. Now, not the point. Oh yeah. Go subscribe to Anime Sensei, Iconic What Ifs, Obito What Ifs, and my second channel is in the description. But yeah. Other than that, no recap because I have uploaded this like about 1 day ago. So let me begin. So last time is the, preliminary rounds. So, Naruto is with his team. Now, of course, he has a mask. Or like kind of not a blindfold. Well, he does have a blindfold to cover up his, like, crystallized blue eye. His red eye is the only one that's showing. His face is covered up because of the mask. Of course, he has a headband of the stone village, but yeah. And his two teammates is Suki and, his other teammate is Hachi. But yeah. Of course, this is where, his Jonin Sensei is, what's it called? Togetsu? Yeah, Togetsu, yeah. Wait. Togetsu, but yeah, Tengetsu, or whatever it's called. Of course, this is where we go into the preliminary rounds. So, Naruto is the first one to go up. Naruto, that's what I said, Bahukatsu, versus, Kiba and Izuka. So, of course, this is where, Naruto's going against Kiba. Now, Naruto does remember Kiba about this guy being so arrogant, so annoying, so cocky, and so prideful. Naruto can remember all that. And, of course, this is where Naruto is really, he doesn't like the Leaf Ninjas at all. He might like a couple that's like Shikamaru and even Choji. They were annoying to him. But everyone else, he can just hope to just die. Yeah. Of course, this is where Naruto goes up to this, person. This is where, the tuning instructor says, begin the fight. And this is where Naruto, he jumps back. Jumps further away from Kiba. This is where Kiba, no, not Kiba. Actually, Naruto is actually going against, someone else. Not Kiba. I actually want to change that. He's going against Sai. Naruto, it says Naruto Bakuhatsu versus Sai. So, of course, Sai does go down there. And he does have a paintbrush. And, of course, he does have, his paper and all that. And Naruto, he's down there also. And Sai does have a Tonto, I should mention. So, of course, it's like Sai and original canon. Of course, this is where Sasuke, she's not really saying anything to Sai. She doesn't care. She's all, looking at Sasuke and all that. Of course, this is where, the first match begins. Akka is right now looking into the match. This is where she's hoping that Naruto doesn't lose because that would be kind of embarrassing. Even though he fight against an S-rank ninja being, Orochimaru, she's hoping that Naruto doesn't accidentally go berserk or whatever that was in the Death Forest. Of course, this is where Sai. Both Naruto and Sai jumps away from each other. And this is where Sai pulls out his, paintbrush and paper. And this is where Naruto also pulled out paintbrush and paper. But this is where, Sai was creating something out of ink. Naruto was creating his own art with paint. With actual, colors and paint. Instead of being just black and white. This is where Naruto, he creates his to be a dragon, like one of the Chinese dragons. And Sai creates a bird, an ink bird, and then creates two buff figures to fight against Naruto. This is where Naruto brings out his dragon, and his dragon is not a physical thing, just like Sai isn't physical neither. It's just kind of made out of ink, but yeah. Of course, this is where, Naruto gets on the dragon, and of course, it's kind of flying around and managing to grab both the buff figures from Sai's creation and crush them, kind of like a snake kind of squeezes someone. So yeah, it does that, and of course it destroys both of those figures and turns them back into ink. And this is where Sai says, I see. Someone else that can actually use, well, art. I can't believe someone like you, who is from the Stone Village, is able to use art. But that's not the matter. It's where Sai then creates more things because he's on the bird flying and trying to get away from Naruto. Naruto, he decides to make something in thin air. That's where he starts drawing in thin air, making 4 kanjis. This is where, well, these kanjis had what's called, well, it was called lightning ball. And this is where multiple kanjis appear, lightning ball. And this is where Naruto hits it with his paintbrush, throwing the lightning ball like a baseball, hitting it like a baseball. This is where the ball almost hits Sai. This is where Sai widens his eyes. He can't do that, but Naruto can. Naruto's right now like drawing in air right now, not even drawing, mostly writing in air, making a kanji. This is where, well, Sai is right now trying to get away with his bird. His bird is trying to dodge the lightning balls. This is where multiple ninjas are right now just shocked, and Hiruzen is more shocked. He has heard of someone that can actually do that in the Stone Village before. Someone so powerful. And if Minato Namikaze didn't eliminate him, then, well, that person would have became one of the strongest in the Stone Village. So, yeah. This is where, well, someone who was actually also watching this, named Killer B, was right now watching this and realized that this person, he has only met someone so brilliant, so amazing. When he was way younger, a man actually came to the Cloud Village to kind of start just drawing a little bit, making some of his art and all that. And of course, this is where he kind of like talked to a younger Killer B. So let's go into a flashback. Killer B was young, and of course he still had the 8-tail seal inside him. And of course he was trying to still kind of rap and all that. And this is where he bumped into this man. An older man with black hair, jet black hair mostly, and crystallized blue eyes with glasses. This is where Killer B says, yo, yo, who are you though? And of course this is where the man says, this is where, well, his name was, well, I don't actually remember what I called him. His name was Saksei. Of course, this is where, well, Killer B says, so, your name is Saksei. I see. Or, what's this? Wait. His name was Creatable. And of course, this is where, well, Killer B says, oh, nice to meet you, sir. What you doing out here in this village? This is where Creatable says, oh, I'm just making art. You know, art can come in all different shapes. Just like your rapping. It's actually amazing art. I hope to see you one day as an amazing artist of music, since your rapping skills will be great, excellent when you're older. This is where Killer B is remembering all the amazing words that this man is talking about. Of course, he saw one drawing of this man that was actually painting. He was painting the well, not walls, mostly the hills, like the mountains and the houses of, well, the Cloud Village. Of course, this is where Killer B was actually amazed, and when he tried to draw, he wasn't that good. But of course, remembering the words of this man, of like art can come in all different shapes, and even anything. Creativity is one of the key things to be an artist. So of course, this is where Killer B went and rapped his entire life, ever since he was a child to when he was older. And right now he can remember that. He remembers this person. Right now that fighting against the Leaf Ninja kid, this kid reminds him so much of that guy. But of course, he doesn't remember the guy being blondish hair, like lightish blonde hair. So of course, he's confused. Did that guy had a kid, or what is happening? Of course, he can see, well, the glasses that Naruto has. Naruto has glasses, and he's right now drawing. Right now, swiftly. Not rushing and drawing. He's swiftly drawing, very fast. But of course, not messing up anything. So of course, this is where Killer B is saying, that kid, incredible. This is where, well, some of we heard Killer B, because Killer B is actually the Jonin sensei for Samui, Omoi, and Karu, or Kari. And of course, this is where, well, somebody says, Sensei, did you say something? Killer Bee says, oh, sorry about that. Yo, sorry about that. I'm just very impressed with the kid's artist. He's very good at drawing. Very good. Very good at painting and drawing. I'm just admiring his art. Very good art. Don't mind me, somebody. This is where somebody was like, okay, wait. Did you stop rapping? This is where Killer Bee says, yo, I'm not rapping. Well, I am rapping, but you know, I gotta be doing this art. This is where somebody says, she cringes and just says, never mind. But of course, she never heard her sensei stop rapping. Mostly Killer Bee. Killer Bee is actually on, well, this mission because, well, Yujito is actually doing something else because the original sensei would be Yujito, but Killer Bee is actually substituting for now. So of course she never actually heard, well, someone never heard Killer Bee talk normally while rapping. Unless it's something serious, then again, he doesn't really care if it's anything serious or not. So of course, this is where she's confused. The boy that's right now fighting against the black-haired kid is showing to be really good at art. Even during the fight, he can draw things on the air, kanjis. This is where she does remember about the boy that was fighting against Orochimaru. And of course, she didn't think that he was that much, but seeing Orochimaru struggle against, well, Naruto, she thinks that this kid is more than just a kid. Someone that's strong. This is where Samui is thinking right now. This is where Amoi says, this kid can fucking draw. Not gonna lie, I should have bet for my money for the, paint the artist kid. This is where, well, multiple people heard what's it called, Amoi saying that. And this is where some people decide to bet on Sai and some people decide to bet on Naruto. Also, I should mention one thing. Naruto's name is not Naruto. It's actually changed into something else. Because, well, Naruto still doesn't want to make suspicious. And he did also tell Akka that don't call him Naruto. So, yeah. But Naruto's name is in the sky right now called Lucas. Lucas Bahakuzi. I meant to change that, but yeah. That's what I fucking remember. But yeah. Of course, this is where, well, Lucas is going against Sai, but yeah. Of course, this is where Naruto, he dodges an attack from Sai. And Sai kind of just sent multiple, birds to go straight to Naruto. And of course, this is where, well, these birds were made out of ink and tries to hit Naruto. This is where Naruto, he creates a, well, kanji for water wall. This is where it explodes into a water wall, destroying the birds and kind of melting them down to just ink. This is where Sai is kind of getting annoyed. This is where Sai says, damn it. This is where he rushes straight to Naruto, pulls out the Tanto, and was about to fight Naruto with just Tanto. That's where Naruto notices. That's where Naruto drew on his paper really fast, smothered some blood in it, and of course created two Tantos out of it and clashes with Sai's Tanto. This is where Sai widened his eyes. Creation out of paper? But paint? Wait, what is happening? This is where Naruto blocks it. He then puts, well, let's go one of the Tantos. This is where he grabs it really fast, swings it around, and slashes at, well, Sai. This is where Sai goes, This is where Sai falls down and he says, damn it. This is where the dragon and bird are right now clashing. Of course, the dragon managed to bite the bird and turn it into ink. This is where, well, Sai says, damn it, gotta get my paintbrush and all that. Naruto throws both of his Tantos at Sai. Right now, kind of clashing with Sai's one of Tantos by actually throwing the actual Tanto away from Sai. And the others, Tanto hitting, well, Sai's kind of paper and ink, kind of spattering it all away. This is where Sai says, damn it. He tries to fight against Naruto and Taijutsu, and Naruto's right now blocking. This is where Naruto says, explosion hand. This is where Naruto touches Sai, and then this is where Naruto says, explosion, well, not explosion hand. He says, explosion touch. He touches Sai, and then just jumps away, and then snaps his fingers. This is where Sai says, what? He got exploded. This is where Sai gets smashed into the wall. This is where Kakashi is right now losing his marbles. He didn't think Sai would actually lose because Sai was shown to be very good and very extremely better than Sasuke or Sakura. But right now, he just sees Sai getting his ass kicked right now by this boy, who's from the Stone Village. And of course, Kakashi does see some similars in Naruto Uzumaki with this boy. But of course, never thought the boy having red eyes, unless he was using the nine-tailed power. But there's no nine-tailed power in Naruto. That red eye is just a red eye that he was naturally born. So of course, he doesn't understand. This is where Naruto, he rushes at Sai, and this is where Sai says, "You bastard." This is where he got mad because he's losing right now. And of course, this is where Sasuke and Sakura has never seen Sai this angry. This is where Sai rushes at Naruto with blinding rage. This is where Naruto, he jumps over Sai, grabbing Sai from the head and the shoulder, and then kind of like twisting him back, kind of flipping him over on top of him, and then throwing him back into the wall. This is where he smashes the wall. This is where he coughed up some spit. This is where, well, he smashes into the wall, making a crater, of course. This is where Sai gets out of it. Of course, he's tired and all that. He's weak and tired until Naruto appears right in front of him, going to kick him up in the, what's called, like, think of, well, not kick him, mostly uppercut him by Naruto kind of grabbing both of his hands, pulling him closer, and then Naruto uppercutting him in the, in the chin. This is where Sai gets sent up in the sky, and this is where, well, Sai is falling down to the sky, and Naruto says, "Dragon!" This is where the dragon rushes at Sai. This is where Naruto did touch the dragon, and it's like this explosion hand. This is where, well, Naruto then snapped his finger, and when the dragon got closer to Sai, it exploded right in front of him, smashing him into the wall. Right now, unconscious Sai is just knocked the fuck out. This is where, well, Sai is actually bleeding so much. This is where they were going to think to stop Sai from battling any longer, but seeing Naruto without mercy really stomping Sai into the fucking ground showed that, well, Naruto doesn't like this Leaf Village so much and still has some grudges. This is where Sasuke narrowed his eyes, seeing this person really take out Sai like it's nothing. Now Sasuke didn't see Sai as like a rival, well, not a rival, but of course this is where Sasuke did know that Sai was strong and very smart. But seeing Sai lose his cool in the middle of the battle makes him wonder if this person is very strong. Now, of course, Naruto's, well, one eye, he's kind of narrows. Well, not even narrows. He's still having this angry expression to kind of show that he's an angry person. But really, he then calms down to show that he's calm now. But yeah, of course, this is where Naruto, he sees the dragon kind of dispel. Of course, a bunch of paint is falling all, like, everywhere. Of course, Naruto sees that he took it outside, and right now there's a bunch of paint all over. And of course, this is where Naruto, he sits down right in front of Sai and starts painting. He's painting Sai defeatness. He's right now rubbing salt on the wound more. This is where Naruto, he draws and paints a very perfect, knocked out bloody Sai on the ground. This is where Naruto, he puts the picture right on top of Sai and walks the fuck away, adding more fucking salt to injury. This is where people are saying, damn, what the fuck? That's just fucked up there. But of course, people from other villages can see that the Stone Village doesn't like the Leaf Village much, so I mean, yeah. This is where Hiruzen kind of narrows his eyes, seeing the fact that that kid showed no mercy to Sai, and also showed no mercy even when that kid is knocked out. This is where Naruto walks back to his team, and Togetsu kind of says, "Good job, Naruto." Or not Naruto, Lucas. This is where Suki says, "Yeah, good job, Lucas." This is where, well, Hachi says, "Yeah, good job. I wonder who I'm gonna be fighting." This is where, well, Naruto says, "Don't know who you'll be fighting, but I hope it's probably those leaf scums." Naruto says quietly and dark. This is where Hachi and Suki can never get used of Naruto's dark, deep tone of voice when he's talking about leaf scums. This is where, well, Hachi says, "Yes, probably." Actually, there's one person I might really want to fight in this whole tuning exams. That's one of the Aburami clans. I heard they were good in bug manipulation. This is where, well, Naruto says, I don't really care. Now, Naruto doesn't hate, what's it called? Shino. He just doesn't mind Shino. Shino, he actually liked because he was also an outcast just like him before Naruto left, but yeah. Now, this is where Shikamaru says, that guy's very powerful, very dangerous, and such a drag. This is where Ino hits him in the head and says, do you have to keep saying it's such a drag? Shikamaru says, yep, it is such a drag. This is where Shikamaru is going against, well, one of, what's it called, next match was Sasuke versus one of, what's it called, well, not one of, what's it called, Kabuto's teammates. Instead, Sasuke was actually going against, well, a person from, well, the sand. Mostly, it was one of Akka's teammates. This is where Akka's teammate goes down. He pulls out his tanto. Of course, it's not a tanto. It's a medium sword. It's like a medium katana. And rushes at, well, Sasuke. Sasuke does have the curse mark. And, of course, he can't use it without getting cut. So, of course, this is where, well, Sasuke can't even use the Sharingan. This is where he's right now fighting against Akka's teammate, who is actually using that katana. Now, of course, this is where, well, Sasuke managed to dodge the katana sometimes, but he did get cut a little bit, slashed a little bit by Akka's teammate. This is where, well, Sasuke says, screw you, fireball no jutsu. This is where Akka's teammate does not know anything about jutsus like for long range or even something to cancel it out. But he did, well, even though he can't cancel it out with another jutsu because he doesn't have that many jutsu to use, he can use wind, but he thinks that that would just increase the fireball. So, of course, this is where he thinks smart, well, thinks this at the last minute, and this is where he says, fire, well, what's it called? Not fire. This is where Akka's teammate decides to put, well, chakra into the sword, the medium katana. And this is where he says, technique, fox fire style. This is where he rushes. Of course, he did put his sword back, but did get the sheath from, well, it was next to him, next to his side. And of course, he's rushing towards the fireball, and he just slices through the fireball. This is where Sasuke widened his eyes, and this is where, well, Akka's teammate does manage to slash his katana right into, well, Sasuke's torso. Right now, giving him a huge-ass gash. And, of course, Sasuke's coughing up blood. This is where Sasuke activates the curse mark and tries to, well, punch at Akka's teammate. This is where Akka says, what's it called? This is where Akka says, Sean! This is where Sean could not react fast enough. He did manage to get that huge gash of blood and all that. And Orochimaru, who was not there because he was somewhere else, this is where, well, the curse mark did activate and give him more power of Sasuke, and did not, well, his speed managed to increase and surpass what's called Sean's, Akka's teammate. And this is where, well, Akka tried to warn what's called Sean, until Sean was too late and too slow, and does get punched in the face. This is where his katana does fall down to the ground. This is where Sasuke just stomps in it with his curse mark feet. This is where Kakashi widened his eyes, but he saw the proctor, and neither did the, what's it called? Well, Hiruzen stopped the match, and neither neither did Kakashi. This is where, well, Sean did go into the wall, like he just skirted into the ground and just smashed into the wall. This is where Sean was knocked out. This is where Akka says, Sean. This is where Naruto's pissed. Seeing Akka kind of cry a little bit, this is where Naruto wanted to rip Sasuke apart. For some reason, that actually came to his mind. And of course, Sasuke kind of just nodded his head, but then again, he does want to kill Sasuke. So of course, that just came into his mind most of the time. This is where Naruto, he was about to do something crazy until Togetsu kind of stopped him. Yeah, Togetsu. This is where Togetsu noticed that Naruto was actually planning to do a very strong explosion jutsu. Now, of course, this is where, well, Togetsu nodded his head, and this is where Naruto stopped. Of course, this is where Sean was now taken to the recovery, but yeah. Now, next match is Akka versus Inco. Now, Inco was the last teammate of, well, not last teammate. Mostly she had a team, but of course, all her teammates decided to give up because they weren't that strong. And of course, this is where, Akka looked at Inco, and Inco looks at Akka. And Inco started using vines. Well, trying to use vines. But realize one thing. She can't use vines because she's not in the nature. And of course, seeing that Akka is using puppets, she is right now out of her league with Akka. This is where she looked at the proctor and says, I give up. And this is where Akka says, wait, what? Why? This is where Inco says, I have too much of a disadvantage. Good luck in the, well, what's called the final tuning time. This is where Inco leaves, but yeah. This is where Akka kind of sad, but yeah. This is where, well, Conqueror was kind of just like smirking to himself a little bit because he does know that Akka is pretty good at puppets. Now, of course, this is where Akka is kind of an outcast in her village a little bit because of her older brother. Ways mostly. But of course, this is where, well, Akka does go up, but yeah. This is where Akka's other teammate that has actually a bigger, like, katana, like a larger katana. This is where, well, he kind of says, I hope Sean is okay. This is where Akka nodded. This is where Chio is also there because she is the Jonin Sensei of that team. Of course, Chio wanted to attack Kakashi so bad because it reminds her so much of Kakashi's father, but yeah. Then realize that that isn't Kakashi, but yeah. Of course, Sean's mostly older brother that's near Akka is his older brother, of course. His name is Saban. Now, of course, Saban says, I guess it's my turn. Saban is going against, well, someone from, well, the cloud. He's going against Karu. And Karu just gets ready and she says, I guess I'm going against someone from the sand. Then again, the Uchiha managed to defeat your brother. So how does that make you feel? That's where Saban says, it makes me feel that my brother at least tried and managed to cut that fireball. Do you have any fire styles? Because I'll definitely cut them down. Mr. Karu says, nah, I don't have any fire styles. These are fire pathetic. So, Saban says, you can say that again. This is where, well, Karu says, besides, I'm not like the Uchiha. I don't need anything power to kind of help us. Or help me fight you. This is where Saban says, at least I don't have none of that neither. Because everyone saw that the Leaf Ninjas did not do anything to Sasuke. And this is where they think it is cheating and scummy as fuck. But right now, they're not going to do anything. They didn't say anything. This is where, Saban and Karu starts ready to fight. This is where Karu just rushes at Saban with her own katana and clashes with Saban's katana. This is Saban grabs his own katana, and his own katana is a brownish color, of course, from the handle, and the blade is very sharp. This is where Karu just blocked it. Well, I mean, mostly slashes at Saban. This is where Saban blocks it, and this is where he then grabs his katana, grips it more, and then this is where he does a bigger, wider slash. This is where Karu manages to dodge, and she says, speedy, very fast. This is where Saban says, thank you. This is where, well, Saban says, not bad yourself. This is where Karu says, then let's see who's stronger. This is where she adds lightning chakra to her blade, and Saban then adds wind chakra. This is where Karu says, well, not Karu, Karu says, wind chakra. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm specialized in it, and you're specialized in lightning. So it's not very difficult to notice anything like that. That's where she says, then let's see who's faster. This is where they both clash, and right now fighting. And this is where, well, Karin decides to try to kick at, well, Saban. Saban managed to jump up, and this is where he tries to upper kick with Karin to, like, the face. Karin managed to dodge, and does do a backflip and kind of jumps away. Of course, this is where she does grab her katana, more, but this is where she throws kunais and shurikens at Saban. This is Saban managed to cut them off through with his katana that's actually made with wind and all, or added with wind chakra. And of course, this is where, well, Karin says, you're pretty good. This is where Saban says, you're not bad yourself. But Lex finishes already. This is where Saban puts his sword towards him. But this is where he kind of then puts it up in the air, kind of doing like a circle. And this is where he says, wind style. Well, not wind style. South wind style. That's what it's called. I'm just making up a sword style. South wind style. Blitz of mostly it's called South wind style. Blitz of golden. This is where he rushes so fast at Karu. Karu realized that what's called Savannah is going also really fast because Karu, I'm fucking up her name, but yeah, she then pulls a very fast thinking. She then adds lightning chakra to her feet, and this is where she also goes through what's called a very strong technique, adding lightning chakra all towards her sword, and this is where she says lightning style thunderbolt striker. This is where both her swords collide in the middle. Of course, they both clash. The tips do clash, but this is where Saban's sword and even Karin's sword just like gets pushed back. Well, I mean, gets pushed to the side of each other. But of course, both those swords does go through, and of course, both Karin and even Saban realized that their swords were actually close to kind of hitting each other in some vital points. This is where they kind of moved their swords from actually hitting each other in some vital points. This is where both the swords does stab each other. This is where someone coughed a little bit blood, but of course doesn't really put blood into Karin's face. This is where Karin does cough the blood into Saban's kind of like coat. This is where someone says, sorry about that. This is where Karin says, nah, I'm good. This is where someone says, I hope we can actually meet each other in the near future if I don't die. This is where Karin says, I didn't hit you in any vital points. That if you didn't hit me. Someone says, same, I didn't hit you. This is where both of them like falls backwards. Of course, both their blades are still into each other mostly, but of course it didn't really fall. It didn't really went fully through of their backs. Of course, it just fall through. This is where he's right now just holding the bleeding part, but yeah. And so where medical ninjas come, and this is where the match is a tie. This is where the next match is Samoid versus Samoid versus Hinata Hyuga. And Hinata kind of widened her eyes. She thought she was going against Nudgy, but this is where she kind of gets this kind of devilish smirk and realized that it's not Nudgy, so she can't be scared of. This is where she tries to go against Samoid, but Samoid did put lightning into her kind of like fingertips, just like the Hyuga technique. But instead, she just stabs into Hinata multiple times and realized that Hinata wasn't fast enough to hit her anytime. This is where when Hinata tries to turn around, because somebody then lets go of the lightning cloak, well, mostly lightning in her fingertips. That's where when Hinata realized that Samui let go of her guard, thinking that she was too cocky, until Hinata was paralyzed. She's frozen mid-air. This is where she realized that she has too much lightning to her system, making her paralyzed. This is where Samui says, pathetic bitch. This is where Samui then fucking kicks her, like back kicks her in the head. This is where Hinata is down to the ground. This is where Kurenai wanted to attack the girl, but of course realized that it was only a tuning, basically the preliminary rounds, and realized that not many villages kind of have the same respect, just like the Leaf Village. Just like that boy from the stone that she's thinking didn't have 1 ounce of remorse against Sai. This girl from the cloud doesn't have remorse for neither the Leaf. So of course this is where she knew that the tuning exams were kind of bad enough, but she thought her team was strong enough. Well, mostly Kurenai thinking in her head. She's like, damn. This is where someone gets up to her team, and of course Amui is the last one there. And this is where Amui is actually called up to fight against Shikamaru. And Shikamaru and Amui say, this is such a drag. This is where the proctor says begin, and both of them just stand there still, saying this is such a drag. That's where Shikamaru says, hey, you want to give up? No, Amoe says, I would, but I feel like I would get my ass beat really hard by my teammates. So, you mind giving up instead? Not Sai, mostly Shikamaru says, I would, but it would be the same damn problem with me. This is where Ino kind of screams at Shikamaru says, don't you dare give up. See? This is where somebody then screams says, Amoe, you know, if you give up, Karu is gonna beat the shit of you when she wakes up from her kind of stab wound. This is where, well, Amoe says, this is such a drag. This is where both of them starts fighting, but lazily fighting. They're barely throwing kicks and punches, like showing any techniques most of the time. This is where Amoe didn't even pull out his sword, and Shikamaru barely pull out kunais and shurikens. Of course, is where, well, in the middle of the fight, they decide to say, well, when they were close enough to each other, they say, we should definitely just throw very knocked out punches so we can just knock each other out. Amoe says, I agree. This is where they jump backwards, and this is where Shikamaru like clenches his fist, and even Amoe, and this is where they rush towards each other, and this is where both Amoe and Shikamaru throws knockout punches. This is where both punches collide each other and knocks each other out. This is where Shikamaru says, having this small ass grin for just getting knocked out. This is where Amoe has the same thing, they're knocked out. Tie. This is where the instructor says, this was the most lazy, god damn it. How the fuck did two lazy people decide to fight each other? This is where Ino goes, that idiot. This is where, well, next is Choji versus, well, Choji is going against, well, Choji is going against someone from another team from the Leaf Village. And this is team 14. And this is where Choji is going against this guy who's kind of scrawny, has kind of bluish glasses, blue hair. And of course, this is where Choji says, I hope you get to show proper skills. This is where the other person says, agree. This is where, well, Choji rushes at this person right now saying, human boulder. This is where the person kind of lifts up Choji by his hand, and he says, telekinesis jutsu. And this is where, well, Choji's lifted up. And this is where, well, the man kind of just does a Sam's. Okay, if you want to know what a Sam's is, it's like Sam's the skeleton when he uses that telekinesis to kind of smash you around the whole goddamn screen. Yeah, that's what the man is doing. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Choji is right now spinning all around and he just vomits. This is where Choji says, I give up. This is where, well, the process says, okay. Now, next is Ino versus Sasuke. The same things happens and their useless asses knocks each other out because they're fucking useless. This is where some people say, damn, the kunoichis in this goddamn village suck. This is where Tamari is roasting what's called the kunoichis, but yeah. This is where they say, man, the lazy fight against the lazy people was so much better than this goddamn fight. What the fuck? This is where, well, Tamari is roasting her and roasting them mostly, but yeah, other people are doing the same. Yeah, this is where Tamari is going against Tenten, and Tamari still wins against Tenten. This is where Nudgy is going against, well, Hachi. This is where Hachi is saying, I have to go against, well, not Nudgy. Nudgy is not going against yet. Instead, this is where, well, Hachi is going against Shino Abarame. This is where Shino and Hachi looks at each other, and they have this instance from their bug saying that he's an Abarame, and the what's called Abarame saying, well, mostly his bug saying that he is from the what was it, the clan that I said? Mostly from the B clan, but yeah. This is where, well, Shino and Hachi then get ready. They get serious. This is where Hachi summoning out some bees from anywhere, from somewhere, and this is where Shino does the same, summon out his bugs. This is where, well, the bug army versus, what's it called, the bee starts fighting. Now, of course, these bees are actually wasp, and they're different colors. They go from yellow and black to red, and even what's called black. This is where, well, these black ones are actually to be kind of sneaky into the bug army and actually kind of assassinate them. The red ones are actually made out of fire bees to burn through the bugs by stinging them. And the red, well, mostly the black and yellow ones are just normal bees, and of course fighting against the bugs. This is where everyone is saying, huh, two bug clans are right now fighting each other. More entertaining than those useless bitches. So yeah. This is where, well, they're fighting, and of course this is where, well, Hachi managed to get the upper hand on, well, Shino by actually going forward to him and doing a taijutsu while fighting him in taijutsu. And of course, Hachi isn't no slacker in taijutsu. He then kicks against Shino, and Shino is not very good in taijutsu, so of course he just gets kicked in the stomach. This is where Hachi also does punch him in the face, and this is where Shino just like gets a bloody nose, but no one can see it. Of course, this is where Hachi then jumps up in the air, does an airsoft kick, and kicks him right in the face. Well, yeah, not airsoft, mostly an airborne kick. So yeah, this is where, well, Shino's right now down for a little bit of count. This is where his bugs are coming towards to save him, until Hachi then kind of summoned out a bee, or mostly a bee that was calm. He kind of got it from his clan, and his clan is specialized in bees, of course, and this bee was actually one rare one. That's where he summoned out a blue bee from his kind of sleeve, and this blue bee sees all the bugs rushing towards his, well, kind of host, and of course the blue bee just summoned out ice. This is where he stung one of, well, the bugs, and of course all of them just freezes him. This is where Hachi says, "Good job, Icy." Well, I'm just calling it Icy. This is where Icy nodded and goes back into, well, Hachi's sleep, and the other bees does go into there. This is where, well, Shino says, "Damn, I lost. I guess you're gonna have to execute me." Hachi says, "No, I won't execute you. I'm not brutal like my team." He Hachi didn't say that out loud because he's really not brutal like his team, like his teammate named Naruto. He does understand that Naruto's pretty mad because the Yellow Flash murdered his parents, but Hachi isn't that mad because he still has his parents, and yeah. This is where, well, Hachi just says, "I'll just tell you that my bees are better than your bugs." This is where Shino kind of chuckles a little bit and says, "I guess so." This is where Hachi then leaves, and Shino is taken to the medical. This is where Kurenai sees that, well, Hachi could have like done worse to Shino by actually stunning him with bees and making him paralyzed forever, but Hachi didn't do that. This is where Kurenai is wondering, is the Stone Village that bad, or is it just some people that are very angry at the Leaf Village? Because she does remember about the Yellow Flash killing a lot of people. This is where, well, next it is Nudgy versus Conqueror. Now Conqueror is going against Nudgy, and of course Conqueror does use his puppets to fight against Nudgy, but this is where Nudgy is right now fighting against Conqueror and was about to hit him with a palm strike to Conqueror, and Conqueror gives up because he sees he out of league. This is where, well, Rock Lee and Gaara still goes the same, and basically Gaara crushes Rock Lee. So yeah. Next match is Suki versus, well, Suki versus Umi Uchiha. This is where, well, Umi is going against Suki. This is where both of them kind of just bow down and gets ready. This is where Suki says, "Well, it's my turn." This is where, well, Suki then, puts her fist into Amethyst, and this is where, well, Umi says, "Interesting, Amethyst, whatever. Water style, water stream." This is where she sends a very high pressure stream water stream, and of course it can cut through anything. And this is where Suki managed to notice that it did cut a little bit of her Amethyst, but rushes at Umi and tries to punch her with Amethyst. That's where Umi dodges, and that's where Umi is going water bullets. This is where she sends multiple water bullets at Suki. This is where Suki managed to block them by kind of punching them with her fist, and then managed to punch Umi in the stomach. Umi coughed up a little bit of kind of, well, spit, until she says, "Water stop, water spikes." It's where in the moisture in the air, because of the water that she kind of released, she then sent a very high pressure of water spikes at Suki. Suki realizes and she has to dodge. She then decides to punch the ground with her amethyst fist and making the ground kind of erupt. And of course the water spikes not going towards her. This is where Umi and Suki are right now fighting. This is where Umi then uses water gun, but instead of shooting a water gun from her mouth, she then puts both her hands out like guns and starts sending water bullets from her kind of like hand, from her fingers. This is where, Suki has to dodge, and of course this is where Suki says, amethyst style, amethyst wall. This is where instead of being an earth wall, it was amethyst. It's where, Suki is able to kind of make earth things, but into a higher level. This is where, Umi kind of notices, and this is where she says, damn, I have to go much stronger. This is where she says, water style, water blizzard. Well, not water blizzard, she says water style, water stream. This is where she sends a stream of water at the, wall. And of course, didn't do anything, but this is where Umi then says water style, water dragon. Smashes through the wall because of all the moisture in the water that's on the ground. And of course, almost hit what's called Suki. This is where Suki then tried to punch and use taijutsu against Umi. Umi was no slacker and of course managed to defeat Suki in taijutsu. This is where Suki goes down to the ground. Suki says, damn it. I guess I lost. This is where, she get up, of course, thinking that, was calm. Umi was thinking that Suki was not going to give up that easily until Umi kind of, Suki kind of raised her hand up and says, I give up. It seems that you're pretty good in taijutsu, so I guess I can defeat you. Besides, you're basically going long range. This was kind of an unfair match, but yeah. I give up. This is where she says handshake. This is where Umi nodded, and yeah. This is where next match is, what's it called? Someone from the Mist Village named Hawking versus someone from the Rain Village named Kayana. Of course, they start fighting using ice and paper. Really, of course, this is where mostly it's long range until Hawking tries to go into close range to fight against Kayana. This is where Kayana managed to use paper to kind of split around until Hawking does use ice to kind of freeze the paper. And this is where Kayana almost lost until she says explosive tag, exploding Hawking into the wall. Hawking is now down for the count. But yeah. Some other matches happen, but yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Kiba. So, I forgot about Kiba. Kiba's match was going against, he was actually going to the finals because Kiba didn't have a match to fight against, so yeah. So, of course, this is where, Kiba was kind of angry and said that he wanted a match to fight, and this is where Naruto says gladly. This is where Naruto was actually smiling and wanted to say something until Gar says, oh, fight him. This is where, Kiba was kind of scared now that he regrets that until he was going to fight against, what's it called? He was about to fight against, this person until, Naruto says, hey, I want to fight him. This is where Kiba says, I want to fight him instead. That other blonde. This is where, the proctor says, I guess you can fight him. Gaara got angry, but he didn't care. This is where, Naruto fights against Kiba. And of course, Naruto does make art. But this is where he makes something much stronger. This is where Naruto says, art style. Art, what's it called? This is where Naruto says, God. This is where he says, art style, multiple hand God. This is where, not multiple hand God. He says Ashura. This is where something appears. A statue full of hands, mostly 9 hands in total. And this is where, Kiba was like, what the? It looked like a statue. It looked like it was an actual physical statue, but it was actually a painting. And this is where Naruto says, destroy him now. This is where Kiba says, wait, what? He's gonna beat his ass right now to the ground. Naruto showing no mercy to Kiba. This is where Naruto then goes to hand size and says, explosion dragons. This is where he said explosion dragons. Multiple explosion dragons appear from Naruto, sending multiple explosion dragons straight to Kiba. This is where Kurenai was about to jump in until the explosion dragons boosted up being faster, hitting Kiba and exploding him straight to the wall. No mercy, and of course this is where Akamaru wasn't going to try to fight the statue or the dragons. This is where Naruto laughs and says, "Fucking suck it, you fucking loser." This is where, Kurenai realized that Naruto really does not show no mercy to any, what's called Leaf Ninja. This is where, Gaara respects that, and he's ready to fight against Naruto if they fight against her in the, the final matches. Of course, this is where Kurenai is mad, so she rushes at, Naruto intending to kill him. This is where, when Kurenai was about to do that, this is where, Tetsu appears, putting an iron fist coating into his fist, blocking the kunai from actually trying to hit Naruto. And this is where Kurenai widen her eyes, and this is where she gets punched in the face. This is where she gets sent into a wall. This is where Asuma was about to fight him, and Togetsu says, "I thought this was a goddamn Genin match, not about Jonin fighting against a Genin." This is where, Asuma picks up Kurenai and says, "Damn, it's right." This is where, Togetsu says, "I would ask my fucking Kage if you want to start a war again." This is where everyone's trying to avoid war. So of course, the Cloud Village is thinking to maybe side along with the Stone Village to see this person very strong. Killer Bee can see how strong this person is. And if a war did break out, their best likely chance is to side with the Stone Village because they have this strong kid. And strong, Genins in the fact. This kid should be tuning mostly the blonde hair kid. Of course, it's where, Naruto follows along to Gesu, but yeah. This is where, everyone is trying to avoid war. Of course, the Sand Village, they know that they might have the alliance with the Leaf Village, but the Stone Village, maybe. Of course, Akka will probably align with the Stone Village, because mostly they can see how strong Naruto is. So yeah, most villages, if a war did break out, they're mostly aligned with the Stone Village to fight against the Leaf Village, because they can see how strong the Stone Village is right now, in the makings of a god right now, a mostly art god. This is where, Kiba's right now down for the count. All of Kurenai's teammates lost. All of, Asuma's teammates lost because Shikamaru gave up. Team 7's team almost lost. Sasuke was the only one, but he's really badly hurt, but yeah. This is where, Haruzen says, "Okay, we don't really want a war, so I'm sorry about that. But we need to continue this final match to see who will be a tuning." This is where, Haruzen kind of tells everyone about the final tuning exam, and yeah, of course they will have 1 month. Of course they will have the matches to fight, and of course Naruto is fighting Gaara. This is where Naruto says, seriously? Well, not Gaara. It didn't say Gaara, no. It said Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto grins, just whining. This is where Naruto says, "It is the tuning exam, and if I kill him, he'll be the best." This is where, Suki and even Hachi kind of saw that grin, that evil grin from Naruto. And seeing that Naruto is bloodthirsty to kill any Leaf Shinobis, then Naruto really wants to kill the Uchiha more. That's where, Hachi and even Suki notice it and kind of get scared of Naruto. Even Akka even noticed it, and she was like, "What the hell is that smile?" This is where, some people notice it, and of course, this is where, they're thinking, "Damn, the Uchiha's dead." This is where, the matches go into kind of like other matches, but I'll mention them later. Of course, this is where the 1 month starts, and Naruto goes back to the Stone Village. Now, of course, this is where Inoki is so happy to see the final, tuning exam. He's actually willing to go himself. This is where Noki says, Naruto, you made it to the final Chunin exams. So, Naruto, are you gonna show them all true art of your power? Wait, did I call him? No, it was... Yeah, it was Lucas. We want to scrap calling him. Naruto's fake name was Lucas, but yeah. This is where, well, what's it called? Naruto says, I am ready, Noki, but I will need to train for 1 month. This is where Noki says, it's fine. And Hachi, I see that you also got into the final exam. Suki, even though you didn't get into a final exam, I hope you get stronger. This is where Suki nodded, but yeah. This is where we go into somewhere deep into a forest. Right now, badly hurt. Right now, pissed and angry. He managed to escape thanks to his what's called real body, but his old body was exploded, and also Kabuto and his teammates were also killed in that explosion. So of course, this is where Orochimaru says, "Damn it, I will get you for that, you brat." This is where he doesn't remember what the kid's name was, and he thought it was Lucas. So of course he screamed Lucas' name. So of course this is where, well, we go into a 1 month. Now of course Naruto was training, and of course the Naruto has been in his compound multiple times, asking Naruto if he wants to get help trained by him. This is where Naruto ignores him, and Kurama is saying, what about sealing mastery? You know, you can always seal the power of the Uchiha and then beat the crap out of him. Naruto kind of, his ear there perked up and then says, nah, I'd rather beat the shit out of him normally. Come on, kid. This is where Naruto looks at him and sighs and says, no thanks. This is where Kurama saying, come on, I'll help you. I'll help you. I hope you. So yeah, it keeps annoying Naruto until Naruto breaks. But until then, I'm actually gonna leave it off for right now. Or not right now. Leave it off for part 5. But yeah. Have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it off here. So yeah. What other what if am I gonna upload? Maybe later I'll find out what I'm gonna upload. But yeah. Other than that, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato, and bye.